Hello, uh, my name is Deyan Petkov from Sofia, Bulgaria. Hello to all. First, I want to apologize that this is a record of my talk and I'm not able to participate live. But I'm traveling, so I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I was thinking that maybe my internet will be not enough to talk with you. So we decided just to record this, and then maybe you will do some conversation after that. Anyway, I like to introduce myself first. I am a mountaineer and alpinist from Bulgaria. I do mostly winter climbs in Bulgarian mountains, in the Alps, in Caucasus, hopefully in the Himalayas. All my life I've been in the mountains from a very little age. Now I do it not professionally, but let's say very extensively, and I've been in a lot of situations, and I hope that I can tell you some valuable advices for your future and for your staying in the mountains, and how to be more safe in the mountains. The agenda of my talk will be, first I will tell you more general about my experience with the mountains. Then I will talk about the skills I think you need to be safe in the mountains and enjoy your staying there. Then I will talk about the equipment that I think you will need for that, and what you would take and what not to take in the mountains. Then I will talk a bit about the first aid in extreme situations, and then I will talk more, maybe it will be interesting for you, more professionally about what I'm doing and different skills that we require in our activities in the mountains. Okay. First, I would like to tell you why I love mountains. I've been my parents, they introduced me with the mountains where I was very young, and I really can't remember how I started to be a lot of time in there. In Bulgaria, we have very big, very high mountains with different seasons. We have strong winter with lots of snow and ice and storms. We have also completely opposite, beautiful summer with hot days and nice mornings and evenings. You can enjoy your freedom, how to say, in outside the cities. It's like every aspect in your life, you want to somewhere to relax, somewhere your eyes to be filled with with the nature. So yeah, maybe like most of the people, I just enjoy being in the mountains and the calm that is there. Alright, but if you want to go there safely and freely, and just to not to worry if something could happen, you will need eventually some skills, that is, and these skills are not very hard to acquire. It's some very basic things that you should remember, and you don't need much equipment or something to carry with you, but you should know some things and before, and to think about that before you leave to the mountains. Okay. First, what you need is to forecast. I think the most important skill that you need is to forecast the situations. And the first forecast that you should do, and it's the easiest one, is the weather. Everything that I start with the mountains starts with the weather. These days you have very easy access to weather forecast. It's good to check the forecast maybe from one source that you trust. It's better from two sources that you trust, and not to be scared from the weather. It's not bad if the weather forecast is not good or not very good, I mean, but to know the weather forecast, because you need to take actions according to this forecast. If it's too cold, you will need to take more warm clothes with you. If it's more warm, you should take different things. If it's wet, you should take different things. And if it's the weather forecast, it's not good at all, obviously you should think about not going in the mountains, or staying in a hut, or at different locations where you can hide. I can recommend you to check the weather forecast in every location, like a hut or a house or something where you pass, because if something changes, you can stay there and be safe. If you know what is going to happen, it's much easier to manage your later actions. The second skill that if the weather is a skill, but I'm very surprised how many people they start their mountain journeys without checking the weather. But if this checking the weather is a skill, next one maybe it's real skill, and it's to know your limits. It's something very general, but usually when you feel well and you enjoy your surrounding, sometimes you start to to feel much better than you should do, and much skilled and much powerful and much, how to say, much stronger. And you start to take some actions that are not appropriate for the situation. For example, you go with a lift, for example, somewhere in the mountain. You are overwhelmed from the nature. You are very, how to say, you enjoy the situation very much, and you decide to just go over this hill, which is very hard for you in normal conditions, but now it looks easy for you. It's this good day, and everything looks fine. But if you don't know your limits and you go climb this hill, and you continue to push upwards, maybe you will not have enough strength to go there, and maybe you can sleep, or I don't know, there can be many different situations, and then you will be in very, very hard environment and situation. Yeah. Or another aspect, for example, you need to stay in the hut. Maybe the weather is not good, but you say, hey, I have, let's say, 2 hours to my car, so I can do it in this bad weather, so I'm strong and I can go there, and in 2 hours I will be in my car. And this is also not good, because if you are not strong enough and the weather gets worse and worse, maybe you can be trapped somewhere and you don't know what to do. So know your limits, and you know your skills, know what you can do and what you can't do, and think about this calmly, and with understanding what is going on is very, very important. I understand that this is, very general skill, or nobody can say exactly what are my limits, or how to what I'm capable of. But I witness all the time people going in the mountains without preparation, without good equipment, and they think that they can do it, and things go very, very bad. How you can know that you reached your limit? I have this rule that you can't acquire nothing if it's too fast. What does it mean? So if you didn't do any time in your life, let's say 6 hours walk in the mountains, that means that you cannot do 10 hours walk in the mountains. You cannot jump steps in your skill levels. You cannot, for example, if you never run in the mountains, you cannot do something quick for 2 or 3 hours. So everything should go on steps. If you think about the situation when you're in the mountains, like let's say, okay, so the weather is bad, I have 2 hours to my car, should I go or shouldn't I go? You should think about sometimes in weather similar like this, did I do 1 hour walk? Did I did 30 minutes walk? And if the answer is no, that means that you cannot go in bad weather for 2 hours, because from 0 hours to 2 hours or to 4 hours you cannot jump like that. You need some previous experience. You need to have some previous knowledge about things, and step by step going and your limits, and your limit is always something a little bit more than you already had. So if you are in front of situation that exceed a lot of something from your previous experience, maybe your limit is less, so maybe not, but who knows, maybe most of the time your limit is less than you think, and you should take some actions to save yourself, or if not save yourself, be in a position where it's nice and warm, like a hut or some structure. Generally, I always follow this rule. I will tell you a bit about that a bit more, and I always train myself, and I advise people around me to train themselves a little bit, step by step, and not forcing in something that they never took some actions. Alright, so next, like a skill, so I'm talking a bit in general, but that's my thinking about mountains. Next skill is to be calm in stressful situations. When something is not going well, even not so stressful situation, let's say you go in the mountains and you have some arguments with your friends, what to do, what to be done, or I don't know, someone hurt himself a little bit, let's say, I don't know, some scratch somewhere. In this situation, because you are not familiar with them, there is a tendency to everyone to be very stressful, and they shout a lot, and they say some inappropriate things, and they say, I will call somebody, and I don't know. In these situations, the best thing that you can do is to be calm and to think. I'm very, very surprised how many people all the time in this kind of situations, they don't stop a bit, think about it clearly and slowly, and then take some actions. Usually the solutions are in front of you. Usually it's not so complicated situation. So sometimes it's so complicated that maybe sometimes nobody can help, but most of the time, 97% of the time, all the solutions are in front of you, and the only thing that you should do is to be calm and easy, and to help others to be calm, and everything will be all right. Lastly, so these were the three general things that I think that I apply in the mountains, and now I would like to talk about some technical skills in a mountain that you should have and you should think about. First of all, you should go slowly. I think that this is very very important not to hurry, and not to lose too much energy. Then you should think about if you are with friends, which is the usual situation, even with one or two friends, you should think about the group. It's not only you in the mountain. Usually it's a group of people, and if you feel strong and with your comfort zone, maybe others they don't. So if something bad happens, it will happen for you as a group, and usually it will happen for the weakest one, and and it will affect all of you. So if someone is not feeling good, so take some action to feel them good, or how to say, to be with his tempo or her tempo, or I don't know. What else? There are many things that you I can say, but I'm not sure that I'm the right person, because I'm mostly like mountaineer. So maybe there will be other lecturers with more technical skills that will be explained. So I will continue my talk with my vision about the equipment you should take, about the things that you should take, and also again more general, not so exact. First, about the equipment, is that you don't need to take too much equipment. You will need, many problems in the mountains come surprisingly from people that took too many stuff, and their bags are too heavy. They don't know how to use their stuff, and they took too much from everything, and the problems are going one after another. But you should take this equipment and these clothes that fits the weather, and most importantly, all the clothes should be in layers. I found in the mountains that the most important rule for the clothes is this: if it's too warm, get off from some of your clothes. If it's too cold, you should put something on you, some clothes. And it looks very easy to be done, but if you have just one jacket, it's very hard to, if it's warm and you put it off, then it will be very cold. When you put this only jacket on you, it will be again very warm. So to be with good temperature and good feeling, you will need different layers. These days it's very easy to have different layer clothes, so I advise you to do it. And other very important rule of mine with clothes is that for the legs, for the arms, and for the hat, and for the hat, you should take two pairs of socks, 2 pairs of gloves, and 2 pairs of hats. So everything by 2, because if they get cold, it's very hard to get warm. If they get wet, it's very hard to not to be cold. So if you have a spare pack in your a spare pair in your backpack, it's always a good idea, and it will save you a lot of troubles if you have double for these things. Next is not to forget. So maybe you heard a lot about hydration, so you know that you should take steps to have good hydration. Notice that if you know the route you go, usually in the mountains there are a lot of water, if it's not very hot summer day, of course. But you don't need to take a lot of water if you know the route, but don't forget also the food. A lot of people, they forget the food. They think that they can go to some very distant hut and they are to have some dinner, but usually that's not the case. If you think that your walk will be 5 hours, sometimes it goes, I don't know, 8, 9, even 10 hours. If you don't have food, you will not have energy, you will not have motivation, you will not have a good experience. So take some food with you. Don't underestimate that. And last thing, I know that maybe I'm boring with this, but you should have phone with full battery, some compass, and a map application installed. The phone is like your saving tool, so you should take some time previously before going in the mountains to install an application with maps and compass, etc., and know how to work with this application. I saw several times people in trouble that they have a phone and then don't know how to work with the map application and compass tool, and it's very sad because they had everything that they needed, but they didn't prepare it. So every application is different, so just choose one. There are a lot of applications, and choose one, learn it, and that's it. Don't drain your battery for your phone with, I don't know, talks with somebody and chatting and Facebook and social media, because maybe your battery will be needed. So if you need your phone, that's only for photos of beautiful landscapes. For everything else, it should stay in your backpack or somewhere warm. If it's very cold, maybe in the winter, you can bring it in your jacket, because the battery drains very fast when it's cold. And if you have 50% battery, that's bad, because you don't know when you will need it. So keep it always over 50%. Okay. About first aid, I'm not. So sometimes, of course, situations go bad in the mountains. Of course, you will need some first aid skills, but I'm not the person who can be let's say professional enough to talk about that. But I can tell you that there are a lot of courses and a lot of what's the word in English? Maybe lessons, or let's say not just online but in person, when you can go and acquire this first aid skills. First aid skills is very important to know how to do them. It's very shame that in the schools they don't offer this, because you learn in school some very hard things in math, for example, or in physics, or I don't know. But you don't learn the basic skills. But fortunately, in our society, we have a lot of courses and a lot of options, and usually they are very cheap. So use that option, learn about that, and it will help you not only in the mountains, but even in your house, in your car, or everywhere. My advice also be to repeat these courses every, I don't know, 5 years or something like that, because many people, they forget the skills. Usually it's let's say 1 day, or even 3-4 hours, and after 1 year you completely forget about everything, and and um, and and yeah, you don't know what to do. Okay, I hope that I was not bored. I didn't bore you till this moment, and I would like to finish my talk with I'm sorry, something interrupted the video. So I will continue with I will finish my talk with my personal experience in the mountains, in some hard situations. Maybe it will be interesting for you. I do mostly winter climbing. That means that usually when I go in the mountains, the weather is not good. There are lots of snow, lots of ice, lots of hard decisions to be made, and that's why I really rely of my previous experience. I never do something that is I'm not familiar with. If I'm not familiar with something, or it exceeds a lot something that is from my previous experience, I go back and I return to the hut. To give you overview what we do, for example, we start climbing at let's say 3 in the morning, for example, most of the time 3-4 in the morning. Then you should walk, let's say 2, 3 or 4 hours usually, just to start the climbing. Then you have 10 hours climbing, or 12 hours climbing, and then you have another 2, 3 or 4 hours to the hut. So usually 1 day experience in the winter as a winter climbing is I don't know, maybe 16-18 hours. If you can imagine that it's very complicated and tiring. That's why we don't take any risks, or I'm kind of person that I don't take any risk, and I don't do nothing that I'm not comfortable with. I always check not the weather, not in the just in one source. I check it on, let's say, 3 or 4 sources. After so many years, I'm something like a weather expert now. Even sometimes I hire satellite time for weather forecast, because sometimes it's very, very important what will be the weather, and the snow conditions are obviously very important. Sometimes we go just walking to the climbing area, and we see that the snow is not in this condition that we need, and we go back. Maybe I needed to talk of another skill that I forgot, and this is the skill to go back. Because it's hard to go somewhere and to spend, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours to this summit or this hut, and it's just 30 minutes away or just 1 hour away, and sometimes it's better to go back. So if conditions got worse and worse and worse and very fast, it's better. It's always better to go back. Of course, so there are exceptions, but I found that people very hard. They took this decision very hard. They prefer to push a little bit more, but sometimes it's not sometimes. Most of the time, it's much better to go back. And don't worry if you go back. It's again some experience. The mountains will be always there. You will have another chance, and nothing can be done on any price. So just go back. We do it all the time. We did a recap for my 1 or 2 years, the previous 2 years, and 2/3 of the time we did go back. So just 1/3 of the time we succeed with our plans and with our our journeys. 2/3 of the time we did go back. It's not a shame. It's even stronger to go back. Anyway, in this winter trips, I'm not alone. I'm usually climb with friends. It's the usual situation. There are some solo climbers, of course, but most of the time you are with somebody. The solo climbers or people that go in the mountains alone, they are like another type of skills you will need if you are completely alone, because you should rely just on yourself and you should be very confident with that. But I like to be with friends, and usually I have a constant friends, or how to say. I don't have many partners. I just have 1 or 2 very close friends, and we climb always together. And to climb together is really enjoyable, because you know the person with you, not just like a person. You don't, not like a friend, but you know what he will do in every situation. You know what to expect from him, and you know how to deal with his weaknesses, and he knows how to deal with your weaknesses. And the combination is very good, and the sharing experience is really good for me, and I really like that. Unfortunately, I lost some friends in the mountains. One of my best friends died in a 8,000er Shisha Pangmar. So he was the one. His name is Deyan Petkov. He was one of the best, if not the best, Bulgarian climber, and he did a lot of 8,000ers. I think 10 or 11 8,000ers. But his climbing is a bit different than mine climb. Not mine climbing, but it's different because it's on the edge. So if you go in 8,000ers or on very hard routes, and you want world-class achievements, unfortunately these days you should be on the very edge of the sport, and on the very edge of everything. So it's a risk that you choose for yourself, and a risk that you choose with your mind, not with your heart. And that's why I didn't go with him anywhere. because it was always very fast on hard routes, and you should be very strong mentally, physically, and this kind of expeditions, they are very complex. So we were involved. If it's achievement for one person to climb a 8,000er, like I don't know, K2 or a hard cut 8,000er on a hard route, but there are a lot of people that are involved. I did all the organization of the expeditions and all the weather reports and all the communication with the locals, and all the preparations, etc. And different persons do other things just to be possible for you to climb, because on this world-class achievements, the only way to succeed is if you do just only the climbing and nothing else, not to worry about nothing else. I don't know if I have time, or you will be interesting to know more about some rescue operations, how we do rescue operations, but basically what you're trying to do is, in these rescue operations in the mountains, you're trying to reach the person who is in trouble without first and most importantly, without compromising your safety. So if you want to help someone, first you should think about your safety, and second you should think about your speed. If you are not safe enough, or if people that are trying to help are not safe enough, they can get in much more trouble than it's already what already happened. That's why we always think calmly about the situation, and we know that we should help somebody, but you don't need to hurry. You don't need to compromise your safety, and if you are not comfortable enough, you should call somebody who is more comfortable, and basically he also will do the same. Even the mountain rescue specialists, they don't go if their safety is compromised. Then you should think how to go to the person that you are saving as quickly as possible. That means that maybe you should do some organization of people. For example, maybe one will be without any equipment, without any backpack, and will be very fast, just with some water, food, or medicine, to reach the person in trouble as quickly as possible, because that's the most important thing for an operation. For example, you know that your friend is in trouble, and for example, if you are free and one person is in trouble, it's much better to take the backpack from one of the guys with you. It will be more heavy for you, you will be very slow, but this second guy will be much faster. And if you have even a small doubt what is going on, just call the mountain rescue, and they will tell you. Took some actions that you don't know what to do, your safety is the first priority. Okay, I don't know if I succeeded to tell you something important, or if I was not very boring, because it's like a recording and I don't have any questions, or I don't know you. That's for me. If you can remember that preparing for the mountains, it's not very hard, but you should do it. It's a very when you go somewhere, it's a small things that you should know and you should do, and if you do it, everything will be all right. And if you prepare yourself like 10 minutes, just checking the weather, checking your phone battery, etc., it will be 10 hours or 12 hours good experience in the mountains, and you will enjoy it and you will not worry about anything. So that's for me. Ciao. Have a good day and enjoy the mountains.